Hey, beautiful souls. Welcome to Matters of the Heart Chronicles. I'm Carmen Janelle, and this is where we explore those divine thoughts that speak directly to our souls. Because when we heal from the soul, we're able to walk in alignment with the Father's heart. We're going to explore what the Apostle Paul did during his 3 years of obscurity, talk about the difference between being buried and being planted. And I'm going to share some practical ways to thrive during your waiting season. So let me start with a question. Have you ever felt invisible? Like you're doing all the right things, but nothing is happening? Like you're stuck in a season that feels more like a grave than a garden? Yeah, me too. A few years ago, I was in a season where everything felt stagnant. My dreams, my visions, I had passion, but every door seemed closed. I remember praying, God, did you forget about me? Am I buried here? I felt like I was in the dark, under pressure, with no signs of life or progress. What I didn't realize at the time was that I wasn't buried. I was being rooted and planted. And there's a massive difference. See, when something is buried, it's over. It's discarded, forgotten. But when something is planted, it's intentional. It's positioned. It's purposed. It's about to grow. And this made me think about the Apostle Paul. Most of us know Paul as the spiritual giant, the guy who wrote half the New Testament, planted churches all over the known world, and basically shaped Christianity as we know it. But here's what we often miss. After his dramatic conversion on the road to Damascus, Paul disappeared for 3 years. Let me read this from Galatians chapter 1, verses 15 to 18. But when God, who set me apart from my mother's womb and called me by his grace, was pleased to reveal his Son in me so that I might preach him among the Gentiles, my immediate response was not to consult any human being. I did not go up to Jerusalem to see those who were apostles before I was, but I went to Arabia. Later, I returned to Damascus. Then, after 3 years, I went up to Jerusalem. 3 years. Can you imagine? You have this life-changing encounter with Jesus. You know you're called. You're ready to go. And then nothing. Silence. Obscurity. Arabia, which was basically the middle of nowhere. Paul could have rushed to Jerusalem, networked with the apostles, started his ministry immediately. But God said, not yet. And in that waiting, God was planting something deep. Which brings me to my second point. Let's talk about what actually happens when a seed is planted, because this is where the metaphor gets powerful. When you plant a seed, you take something that has potential and you bury it in darkness. You cover it with dirt. You apply pressure. And from the outside, it looks dead. There's no movement, no color, no sign of life. But underground, something incredible is happening. The outer shell is breaking, roots are forming, the seed is drawing nutrients from the soil. It's preparing for something the surface cannot see yet. Jesus said it this way in John chapter 12, verse 24. Very truly I tell you, unless a kernel of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it remains only a single seed. But if it dies, it produces many seeds. The breaking point you feel in your waiting season, that might be germination. The darkness you're experiencing, that might be the soil. The pressure, that might be what's necessary for your outer shell to crack open so new life can emerge. So here's the question. What if your waiting season isn't God forgetting you? It's God planting you. What if the darkness isn't the end of your story, the beginning of your growth? Now, here's what I love about this. During those 3 years, Paul wasn't producing visible ministry. No. He wasn't preaching to thousands. He wasn't writing letters that would end up in the Bible. But he was developing roots. Psalms chapter 1, verse 3 says, "That person is like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in season, and whose leaf does not wither. Whatever they do prospers." Notice, planted by streams of water. The roots go deep to where the water is. And it's those deep roots that allow the tree to produce fruit in season and withstand drought. Paul's 3 years in Arabia gave him deep theological roots, spiritual maturity, and an unshakable foundation that will sustain him through shipwrecks, beatings, imprisonment, and decades of ministry. See, God is more interested in the depth of your roots than the speed of your results. And let me just say that one more time. God is more interested in the depth of your roots than the speed of your results. Your waiting season is your rooting season. And those roots, they're going to hold you up when the storms come and keep you fruitful when the droughts hit. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. So what does this mean for us? First, change your vocabulary. Stop saying, "I'm stuck" or "I'm buried." Start declaring, "I'm planted, I'm positioned, I'm being prepared." Second, lean into spiritual disciplines that deepen your roots. This is the season for prayer, for intimacy, for scripture meditation, for being alone with God. Don't waste your waiting by staying shallow. Use this time to go deep. Third, trust God's timing over your timeline. Paul could have rushed the process, but he would have missed what God wanted to establish in him. Your delay is not your denial. It's your development. Here's what I want you to try this week. Every time you feel the frustration of waiting rising up, pause and pray this simple prayer. God, I'm planted, not buried. Show me what you're growing in me right now. And then pay attention. Journal what comes to mind. Look for the ways God is deepening you even when nothing visible is happening. So, just to recap, we talked about Paul's 3 hidden years in Arabia, the process of being planted versus being buried, and the importance of developing deep roots before producing visible fruit. I'd love to hear from you. What waiting season are you in right now? Drop a comment, send me a DM, or share this episode with someone who needs to hear that they're planted, not buried. Thanks for listening to Matters of the Heart Chronicles. Remember, what God plants, He brings to full bloom in His perfect timing. I'll see you next week.